Hi, it's Dr. Darren Schmidt at the Nutritional Healing Center of Ann Arbor, and I was recently accused by a guy for making stuff up. So I don't make stuff up. I'm not fake news. But the information I get that I deliver comes from old books and textbooks along with the new stuff. So I'll post links at the bottom of my in my description box of the video. But a lot of things I say come from 1940, 1930. And so I'm going to go over some of these resources that I like, and you can buy some of them. So IFNH.org stands for International Foundation for Nutrition and Health. They own the copyrights of Dr. Royal Lee's work. Dr. Royal Lee is the father of holistic nutrition. So here's a picture of him. And this is my favorite book. It's called From Soil to Supplement. And last year when I had black mold poisoning in my heart and having all these heart symptoms, there's an article in here called Nutrition and Exercise, or it's Exercise and Nutrition. And in that he starts to describe lactic acidosis. And that's when I got it. And it turns out 1/3 of these articles are about lactic acidosis. Now I had read this 10 years earlier, and I didn't understand it because I wasn't suffering. I didn't have the reality, if you will, on that subject. So anyways, you can buy this at ifnh.org. Here's another book from Royal Lee's pen. It's called Vitamin News. And this is the name of his newsletter that he did twice a month, beginning in the early 1930s through the late 1950s or early 60s. And so this is a collection of the favorite top articles that he wrote in the Vitamin News. So you can buy this and you can read this old information that still pertains today. Okay, this is a book from ifnh.org called Practical Endocrinology from Henry Harrower, 1931, 1932. He's the father of endocrinology, and this book has 650 pages. You can get the online version for free, but it's missing the middle 150 pages. So it's still valid to have if you're interested, because you can use the search option and look for words. So that's a great book. All right, last one from ifnh.org is this book, Clinical Reference Guide for the Standard Process Products. I don't know if they may only sell this to doctors, I'm not sure. But the point here is that the government does not like this, and they are going to change it. And the most important part to know is that these blue pages are conditions that are treatable with nutrition, like leg ulcers, leg cramps, indigestion, jaundice. Every condition in the human body basically is in here. And so the FDA is going to change this around, and at some point this will not be available anymore. So get your hands on it. We need as many printed and distributed as possible before tyranny reigns. Okay, now another resource is SeleneRiverPress.com. This is run by a standard process distributor in Denver, Colorado, and his name is Mark Anderson. On this website, he's got free historical documents. Plus, you can buy books, you can buy audio CDs, and just peruse through that if you're interested. Okay, now I'm going to go through some of my older textbooks. I have 4 bookshelves filled with books regarding healthcare and medicine. Let me just go through some of my favorites. This is called The Fasting Cure by Upton Sinclair, about fasting, 1911. You can get the free version online. Just search for it, you'll find it. PDF. Okay, this is called the A Vitaminosis, 3rd edition, 1944, filled with research. See all these tabs that I have? So when I talk about research from this book, there's no link to click onto on the internet. Not everything is on the internet. So, but Dr. Royal Lee referred to this book personally. He did himself. He also referred to this one. It's called Vitamins from Harris, 1938. So a textbook, here's another textbook. This is called Textbook of Nutrition by Nixon and Nixon. And I believe this is 1935. Yeah, this is 1938. The other one's 1935. Okay, this one I picked up is called The Royal Road to Health, 1907. And in this book it says, bread has been known as the staff of life, and although it forms the main dietary staple for large numbers of people, that does not in any way prove its eligibility as an article of food. Bread has hitherto had a value placed upon it to which it was not legitimately entitled. So in 1907, all bread was organic and whole grain and brown. Nothing added, no preservatives. It had a 3-day shelf life, or a 6-day at the most. No white bread, no bromine added, not bleached. And this book is saying, this textbook is saying, bread is not a good article of food. And I agree with that 100%. On my Kindle, I have a book called The Metabolism of Tumors from Dr. Otto Warburg. And that was from the early 30s. He got his Nobel Prize in 1931. He figured out how cancerous cells metabolize and respire. And that description is how all chronic disease cells metabolize nutrition. So this should be required reading in every single medical school for every single doctor. It is pathophysiology. It is the disease state of physiology. That's it. I mean, there's only one. There's just one way to do it, and Otto Warburg figured it out. So you can get that on your Kindle, The Metabolism of Tumors. All right, I have some more modern books I love. Here's Good Calories, Bad Calories by Gary Taubes. And he's a science writer. He's a rocket scientist. He got his PhD in aeronautical engineering. So, and he got his minor in journalism. So he was critiquing high-end physics research articles and being published in Discover magazine. And in 1992, one of his friends said, hey, you should study medical research because it's so bad. So he started reading medical research, and he's been doing that ever since. And he is not swayed by bad research, bad control groups, undefined placebos. He knows his stuff when it comes to research, and he gets it. So even though he's not a clinician, he doesn't treat patients, he's got the right information. There are other science writers who don't have the right information, and they're swayed incorrectly by the wrong research. Okay, this is called Wise Traditions. This is a journal I get 4 times a year from the Weston A. Price Foundation. And you can pay $40 for a membership, and you get this great journal. And it has articles from lay people and from PhD researchers and medical doctors. There's really good information. So, and it's pretty inexpensive. Okay, this is an example of an herbal textbook. This is it's a shortened version by Kerry Bone. I think he's the greatest herbalist in the world right now. And he wrote this herbal compendium, Modern Research in Herbal Studies. Okay, Nourishing Traditions. This is a book from Sally Fallon, and it's a cookbook. I mentioned this before in one of my videos. But they have the recipes in the middle, but then on the outside they have reasons why you want to eat healthy food, clinical experiences, historical data, that kind of stuff. So it's not just a cookbook, it's very educational. And then the last book I want to go over is called Cancer as a Metabolic Disease. I've talked about this several times. It's a compilation, I think, of like 1,300 research studies regarding cancer. And Thomas Seyfried refers back to Dr. Otto Warburg and what's known as the Warburg effect. He talks about fasting, ketosis, the mechanism, lactic acidosis, the mechanism of chronic disease. So I'm just proving to you I'm not making stuff up. I'm actually just reading a lot, and not everything is online. So I have these old books, and what's important is to be able to know what's true versus what's false, and I can see that in my patients. So I get the clinical results, but also too, it's important to know what's true and important versus what's true and not important. So there's a lot of not important information online everywhere, books, articles, etc. And you can just discard the information that's true and not important because it's not important. So I hope you liked this information. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. You can share and subscribe. And also there's a little bell you can click on to get notifications for my upcoming videos that I post on YouTube. All right, thanks.